Before I get the eTimeMaster dirty, I just want to stop and compare it with the gas version and show you why this is going to be one of the better large area mowers on the market. If you take a look, the eTimeMaster and the TimeMaster, everything is pretty much identical except the engines. The front wheels, the rear wheels, the controls, the lift controls are all the same. The deck is all the same, uses the same blades, same side discharge, so on and so forth. You go around to the back and you look at the bagging system. The bagging systems are identical. The bags are identical. There have been a few, I think I want to call it improvements to the E series right now. Number one is the handle. The personal pace control on the TimeMaster is the first or second generation. It works really well. I have no problems with it. The hanging on to it, your hands automatically are relaxed and comfortable. For people who are really tall or people who are really short, though, it's just not quite the right angle. So Toro has redesigned that so that it is a smooth arc. The traction control handle, which you use if you're running on a steep slope or something like that, and can use to pull the machine backwards. That's also now made of metal. The safety bail, it wraps around the handle, so it's real convenient. Once you start your mower and start mowing, you don't even know the safety bail is there. So there's always that one guy who doesn't quite believe what I'm saying. So I'm going to go ahead and pull these covers off so you can see how the system works. If you want a real in-depth review of how the TimeMasters work, I do have a video on my channel, on my YouTube channel, that talks about it. So, but let's pull these covers off and I'll be back. Okay, looking at the eTimeMaster, it uses the same cogged timed belt system as the other one. It has many of the same parts. The belt is different because on the gas-powered one, there is a clutch over here that controls the blades. On the eTimeMaster, it looks like the belt that drives the transmission and the belt that drives the blades engage at the same time. One of the nice features of the gas one is you can go down the street with the engine running and the drive system pushes you along. You don't have to have the blades running. Yeah, there's a big pile of dirt underneath here. It's been 2 years since I had this cover off, and it looks like I should clean this a little more often. Interesting. But the bracket, the mount is the same. The mount here is the same. It's all integral with the frame. They did, instead of having these castings here that could break off, they now have an aluminum mount that can be replaced if you happen to bend one or break one. So little things, little changes, but still basically the same machine. I can say that the only real difference between these two machines is one has a gas motor and one has the electric motor. One thing nice about these Toros, what's really nice about these Toros, is it's one of the few electric mowers that you can get wet to clean. Both, the new one has a washout port just like the old one. The new one, they don't specifically say it, but I'm going to have no problems using a hose to wash off the top of the machine. I don't want to get any water up inside the battery compartment. Just don't want to do that. So I would wipe this down by hand, but as far as the top of the deck and stuff like that, garden hose, I don't have any problems using it. Any questions on what's the difference? Ask in the comments below. To start this machine, have your button, have your safety switch put in, pull back on the safety bail, hold it for 2 seconds, then push the blue button. Doesn't sound too bad. Let's turn it up to max here, see how it sounds. Put it back to auto, and it slows back down. The 2 speeds are for auto. It runs in its most efficient speed. If the grass gets too thick, it'll go ahead and speed up. Works good for normal mowing. If you're going to mulch really thick, heavy grass, you may want to see how well it does. If it's not mulching as well as you like, just leave it in the max speed. That runs the motor as high as possible. The auto gives you your best efficiency, the max gives you your most power. So let's go mow with it. I'm out to the farm, and today we're going to see how the gas powered mower compares to the electric, see which one's got more power. So it's got lots of fertilizer on it, and this grass always grows really fast and really thick. It has for the last 20 years. So this is probably one of the tougher spots of grass that I have to mow. So it should be a good comparison between the two. I've got the mower set at the same height. I'm going to leave the mulch plug in. By leaving the mulch plug in, we can see what the machines are really going to do when it comes to tough, longer grass. I don't expect them to do a very good job of mowing, just because the grass is much longer than what you would normally do it with mulching. Here we're just looking to see how much power they got. Alright, so let's get started. So I'm going to use the 30-inch gas TimeMaster first. Let's see how it does. And even after 2 years now, this thing starts on the first pull every day. Well, this grass is fairly dry, so it actually didn't do too bad. I did have to slow down and stop a couple times, and that's about where the gas-powered one is at. does a good job on a normal lawn. You get into this heavier stuff, it bogs down fairly easily. So let's get the other one out. If you look, the left side is a little bit lighter than the right side. So try it on the heavier side here with the new 30-inch eTimeMaster. Again, it's even easier to start than the gas-powered one. I just pull the handle, pull the safety bail back, and push the button. I have the handle a little bit too low. Let's go to the other notch. All right, try it again. By the way, I have this set on auto. So there's two positions on this. There's an auto that runs at a slower mode on normal cutting, and then it'll boost the speed up. There's also a max. I'm going to do it in the auto for the first pass. Well, that was fun. Fell over, so I'll make another pass with it in the auto. The grass is getting a little heavier as I mow to the north here. Well, it never kicked into the higher speed. I do have to say that the gas-powered one is cutting a little better, but I know why that is. Because in echo mode, the blade tip speed is not quite as fast as what the gas-powered one is. So let me put it on max, and you can hear the difference, and we should see a difference in the cut too. Notice how it's running a lot faster. it does just as good a job as the gas-powered one. This grass is way too long to cut as mulching, but it's still doing a very good job of picking most of it up. There is some I guess you call it water grass or crabgrass in here, so the blades don't necessarily pick that up and cut it cleanly, but the rest of the grass, boy, it's doing a good job. Well, we couldn't get this thing to kick into high, so let's go over here to this field, and I've got some stuff that's about 12-18 inches tall. We'll try it there. All right, again, we're going to see if we can stretch this, put this motor to its limits. So I'm going to put it back into auto so it runs a little slower. And let's see if it'll kick up in this taller stuff. This area I got right here is probably about 12-18 inches tall. So let me set the camera down and off we go. Well, did you hear it? It did rev up, and it actually revved up higher than the max in the one little spot there. Surprisingly, I didn't expect this, but made one pass down and then a pass back, and it's cutting it pretty clean. I have to say that, especially with the mulch plug in, this thing is awesome. Put this on your regular normal lawn and mow mow it regularly. I think you're going to be very, very happy with it. So let me make another pass here, and I'm going to leave it on max this time, and let's see how well it does do. All right, did you hear back there on the very end? I had a pile of orchard grass that had a gopher mound underneath it. And I actually did get the motor to slow down, but it didn't stall. So, boy, I'm impressed with the power on this. I really am. All right, we haven't used it very much. But let me look at the batteries. I expect them to be down 1 bar for the amount of work I'm doing. And they are. These batteries dissipate in parallel. So both batteries go down at the same time. It's still 60 volts. The batteries are hooked up, so you get your 60 volts. It doesn't double the battery voltage like some of the other ones. So I like this so far. Boy, I like this. I'm really impressed with the power. I'm really impressed with the with how well it does. Oh. All right, when I did come back from that tall grass, I did make a cut right alongside of the gas TimeMaster in max, and it cuts just as well or better than the TimeMaster. TimeMasters are known to cut very well, and even the guys down south with the real thick grasses like how well they cut. So this machine has more power than the gas, and as you can see, it cuts just as well or better. I'm impressed. All right, now let's cut some good lawn. It's actually kind of hard to find a good lawn right at the moment. This spring we got rain till about 1st of May. No, we got rain till about the middle of April, and then it just shut off. Most of the guys got their crops in the ground. The crops had a chance to germinate and start growing, and then we didn't get any rain here in the Midwest until mid-July. Mid-July there was a spot for about 2 weeks that we did get some rain, and it was enough rain that it helped the corn during the tasseling, and it's just enough to get the corn to set its brace roots and get them go down for moisture. So most of the corn in this area looks pretty good. The beans here on this farm look really well, for the same reason. We got the rain just about at the right time. Grass though, this lawn went completely dormant, and most lawns went completely dormant. That little rain did bring it back, but we haven't had any rain again here now for a while, so the lawn is going back into dormancy. This spot here underneath this shade tree is about the only good spot of grass I got to show off this mower with, but it hasn't been mowed for over a week now, so we'll get a good chance here to see how it does. I might as well tell you about it right away, since you're going to see it when I'm mowing. This is my 1953 Super H Farmall. My father bought this brand new in 1953. It's stayed on the farm its whole life, except for about 4 years when I took it into Chicago and completely restored it. That was 30 years ago. So looking at her now, she needs a little bit more TLC. I actually have had it setting in a shed here on the farm, and we're cleaning out the shed, so my nephew decided to pull it out here and use it as a yard ornament for a few months. So we'll get her cleaned back up. I'll get it started again. I have to go through it and change all the oil and fluids and make sure everything is ready to start, and then we'll get her running, and maybe you'll see it running someday. So that's my Super H. The wind always blows out here, and she's blowing nice and strong today. It's going to help me so I don't sweat so bad mowing this lawn. So, all right. Here's the Toro 30-inch eTimeMaster on good lawn. And it's running on auto at the moment. Let's put it in the max mode. So it's mowing very well right now. Let's put it in the max, see if it does an even better job. On this grass, I can't tell a big difference from running it on the high speed or the eco mode, so I'm going to drop it back down into eco. Alright, what do you think? I am quite happy with how this lawnmower is mowing this lawn. Pretty much a normal mow for a lot of us, and it does it nice and clean, even in the eco mode. I don't get really any scragglers. There are a few scragglers showing here, but I think that's because this bluegrass is so thin, because it hasn't gotten enough moisture all year. But in general, it really cuts it very well. Cuts the clover off well.